One might assume that the best Japanese food in New York City is in Manhattan and done by a famous chef from Tokyo. But we heard that in Brooklyn, there is some of the most experimental and artistic Japanese food being created by chefs from around the world. So join us and let's go see for ourselves.
'21 is here, guys. We are in front of Salt and Charcoal. This is the convergence of two very unique things. On one hand, a Brooklyn steakhouse. On the other hand, a Tokyo steakhouse. Boom.
You're gonna see a Japanese way of doing things and a Japanese way of thinking mixed with the classic steakhouse. I think you're gonna see some dishes that you have never ever seen before.
Welcome to Tokyo, New York.
Hey, I'm Teru. I'm originally from Tokyo. I've been here for 22 years.
My name is Kei Sugimoto, born in New York, raised by childhood in Japan.
Basically, when we went to the steakhouse, we wanted to have some Japanese appetizer along with the steak, so we created one here. And yeah, it's been doing pretty well here.
All right, so this is the smoked duck breast. All right, so it's sitting on top of a little miso millefeuille potatoes. That's like a little potato layer cake with some cream cheese and miso. The duck is smoked. It's also charcoal grilled like everything here. The scallion salt cream sauce. It's made with duck fat. And this is a soy balsamic sauce to go with the duck as well.
Wow, amazing.
Wow.
Yo, what kind of duck did this come from? This duck breast meat is pretty big, huh?
Yeah, we found them in Central Park just today before we got here. So the Uni Filet Mignon comes with uni on top, of course, with the little Acre eggs right underneath there. There's some shredded scallion, and this black sauce right on there is a kombu sauce. It's a seaweed sauce. And on the bottom is a little watercress as well. It's a 14-ounce filet mignon. This area is definitely really cool. It's very Manhattan-like, but it's not completely dependent on tourism like Manhattan is. So it's a very local vibe over here. A lot of people from Brooklyn and the local area come here. And just we're right out here on the corner, so it's pretty easy to see. So this is tuna tartare, probably one of our most popular appetizers, one of my favorites. So we'll start with the tuna. Get some scallions, rice cracker pearls, and avocado. Real wasabi, no horseradish, no green food coloring.
The real wasabi, guys. A lot of people don't know. Most of the, 90% of the stuff you're getting is fake wasabi.
Yeah, for sure. But we've got the real stuff here. I'm very proud of that fact.
Okay, we have this amazing spread here at our Brooklyn Japanese Steakhouse Salt and Charcoal. This is like a steakhouse, except everything's looking different.
This is the perfect intersection of Brooklyn and Tokyo.
I think we have to go and start with the premier item, the Uni Filet Mignon.
This is a 14-ounce filet mignon. You've got a copious amount of uni on top.
Oh, David, we gotta start with this. We are wasting no time.
Shredding. It's
Wow,
shredding like
wow,
it's
wow, wow.
carnitas. Uni filet mignon.
Wow.
That is unlike anything I've ever had before.
The saltiness and umami-ness of the seafood is actually adding to the flavor of the steak, so, man, mind-blowing. David, the next dish is something that you normally wouldn't see at your average steakhouse, but since we are at an Asian steakhouse, humongous pieces.
Japanese duck breast.
David, I love the way this is cooked over a charcoal grill, so you know the skin has lots of flavor.
Of course, we cannot leave out the tuna tartare. At a typical steakhouse, this might be more steak tartare. The French style, this is a little bit more of a hybrid between the Japanese and the French style. Here we go. Really good.
All right.
And this is something Drake would like.
Spots like these, and like a lot of the spots that we're probably gonna see in this video, where it's like a Japanese technique, Japanese thinking, but almost put onto American food. Do you think this is like the future of Japanese food in America?
I definitely think it's one of the turns that is gonna further develop. I don't think it's like the future of everything, but I think that it's the right step, and I hope to see more and more of these things as we enter a more globalized world.
Well, I think you're gonna see throughout this video, there is all different levels of Japanese fusion, and it's all done really right, you know? It's not fusion in the way that we know fusion from 15 years ago, where someone was just slapping on this, making this into a sushi roll. Nah, this is legit. These are coming from people who are either Japanese, lived in Japan, or really, really study the culture.
「
Uni Filet Mignon
「 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 」 Andrew, you going in with your hands here at Ume. I'm gonna be using the choppies, aka the choppy sticks.
This looks amazing, man. This is the eel and cheese. Little piece of pineapple on top. That's amazing.
Amberjack. Ooh,
With jalapeno.
with a little jalapeno.
Oh.
Salmon ikura with a flower petal on top.
I don't know if I'm supposed to eat this one with my hand. That was like a salmon lox with cream cheese.
Lean tuna. It doesn't need any of these additional sauces that Danny broke down, but I'm gonna put some on anyway.
I think it's cool that they give you this little brush here, which is usually what you see the chefs have, but they bring it to the table for you to use.
Shrimp. Sea bream.
Whoa.
Squid.
With a little miso wasabi.
Chutoro.
Tuna belly.
Scallop with rose petals. Rose petals on scallop? They doing something different here at Ume. The flavor is definitely getting bolder every little step that we go. Cured salmon. This next one, I'm incredibly excited for. I can't even contain myself.
Otoro caviar.
This is Otoro caviar
The quail egg.
with the quail egg. I don't even know how to eat this. I'm gonna dump mine out.
Yeah, I was about to eat the egg. I was contemplating it, but I just know that's not how you're supposed to do it. The yolk is sitting on the Otoro. This is the fattiest part of the tuna with the egg yolk in it.
Whoa. Last but not least, we've got the crab and uni. The flavor on that last one was so bold, man.
So this is everything done. We have Songkran, Nikitoro, Hokkaido Scar, and A5 Wagyu, and Hokkaido Uni, and Kia Ikura, Kuruga Caviar.
This right here, I am excited to try this.
Hokkaido Scar, Hokkaido Uni, and truffle kombucha, and something for our time to make a very, very beauty and very, very good quality. Common model oyster with Nikitoro and Hokkaido Uni and Kuruga Caviar and 24 Keiko on top.
I'll tell you this, the Japanese food here in Brooklyn is experimental. They're pushing the edge. I love to see it.
I'm gonna mix a little bit of it up.
Oh, there's a lot of truffle. There's some truffle in here.
Wow. To mix this up, I have everything in a bite with a little bit of shoyu. Wow. Yo, I'm tasting everything. Wagyu, Otoro, ebi, crab, ikura.
I think the Hokkaido scallops are a must get. Everybody knows Hokkaido, milky milk, milky seafood. Of course, last but not least, guys, we cannot ignore this oyster right now. That is probably gonna be one of the most decadent things I've ever had before in my entire life. Before you eat this, you must say, "Itotakimasu."
Next spot, we are in East Williamsburg at a spot called Shalom Japan that was described in the newspaper as Sephardic Japanese.
David, I have a feeling that we're about to experience some Japanese food that is probably non-traditional, but very unique.
They are mixing a lot of Sephardic Jewish cuisines with Japanese techniques and ingredients.
Shalom Japan.
So at Shalom Japan, what we are doing is we're telling the story of two different cuisines. Jewish cooking being long and slow, and Japanese cooking being so articulate and finessed.
Challah bread with miso sake butter.
Whoa! That is some of the tastiest butter I've ever had.
It reminds me a little bit of those Hokkaido bakeries that you go to in Asia and in Japan, but like turned up and a little bit more Western. All right, in front of me, I have the Jew egg or the Jewish egg, which is their take on a Scotch egg with some Japanese techniques, even though this dish is more Mediterranean, Andrew, and you are looking at a latke okonomiyaki.
Yo, I'm excited. Got a little pastrami on there too. Let's go.
Whoa, that's good. Andrew, we are looking at a Jewish-Japanese pizza and a Jewish-Japanese pastrami sandwich, and I know you are obsessed with pastrami sandwiches.
Yes, man, I love myself a Reuben. I love pastrami. I love a lot of different types of Jewish sandwiches. This is a Wagyu pastrami sando, something you have never seen before unless you come to Shalom Japan.
As somebody who eats a lot of Jewish food and eats a lot of Japanese food, I can tell you that I did not expect them to be blended, number one, and number two, I did not expect the blend to go so well.
It's how you would imagine a Japanese person would pull off a pastrami sandwich.
All right, you guys, our final round here at Shalom Japan, I've got a salmon lox chirasi salad.
And I have a matzo ball chicken ramen.
That's
wow.
crazy. That's crazy.
Wow.
I thought it was Fujianese fish balls, but it was matzo balls. Whoa. Yo, I don't know if I am at Russ and Daughters or Morimoto.
In this unique Japanese Brooklyn crawl, we have only started our journey, but man, I am so excited to see what else that we come across because this food is already mind-blowing.
Next up, we are here at Acre in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. This place feels like it's straight out Nishizabu. The chef and owners are from Tokyo. They focus on healthy and hearty food that uses the techniques of fermentation and enzymology.
All I can tell you is that they're doing things differently and they are taking their craft very, very seriously. Here you have the pork katsu bento, which seems and sounds like a regular bento, but obviously, as you can see, the elements here are very different. And then you have your onori waffle fries right here. These are gonna be kind of like your traditional seaweed fries. And then you actually have your Japanese egg salad sandwich right here.
They have some shiso mayo, all types of different things that make it basically have Japanese flavors and Japanese touches. This is definitely one thing that I've been looking forward to eat.
Pork katsu.
Oh, there's a ton of dill in there. There's some wasabi. You know, this exact recipe wouldn't even be out of place in a place like Harajuku or Shinjuku district within Tokyo, because obviously Tokyo, Andrew, being the most international city in Japan, it's a city with so much Western influence. Seeing this exact spot would not surprise you.
Everything from the pork katsu to the green beans that are on the side, I can tell that the care and quality is there.
Andrew, these waffle fries actually taste like the real life version of those Calbee seaweed chips.
Let me try these.
It'd say like, 250 grams on the bag.
Oh. Wow. Wow. The nori flavor is kicking.
The most seaweediest of seaweed fries.
Oh.
You guys, obviously it's very tough to travel right now. I don't think I'll be making it to the Summer Olympics in Tokyo in 2021, but this definitely takes me back to Shinjuku. 10 out of 10.
I'm Jackie. I'm a line cook over here at Okonomi Yuji Ramen. I've been here for like 2.5 years now. I think it's more of a fusion. It's like a mix of New York and Japanese. I just think it's the way that people live. Like in Brooklyn, people are more experimental. They want to be less rigid and be a little bit more loose. Like the city, businessmen, everyone's out there, so they got to keep it up with the traditional. But over here, you can take more risks because everyone is taking risks. So if you don't have to take risks, then you're not going to succeed.
Next up, we are in East Williamsburg at Okonomi having a modern Japanese breakfast.
David, what we're looking at are two amazing bentos. Here we have the eel one, that's American eel, and then we have a Spanish mackerel bento.
Andrew, a lot of people always wonder what Japanese people eat for breakfast, and I always heard that they had fish. They had a piece of salted fish usually, and then a bunch of sides. A very, very light breakfast.
And I think it's really cool. These sides are gonna look like side dishes, kind of like, panchan, where you have your different fermented and cooked veggies here, and same with this eel one too. And I mean, I'm not saying that every Japanese person, gets to eat, this for breakfast, but I don't know, maybe some do.
The leader of the Tokugawa shogunate would be able to have that for breakfast every day.
David, so you saying we eating like the leaders of the shogun?
I'm just saying a Yakuza boss could.
Guys, this is not just like your average Japanese bento, okay? Let's be honest.
All right, for me, I've got a tamago, I've got an egg, I've got, of course, something that Japan and Korea both adopted from the West, the potato salad, which I'm a big fan of. Some of more the preserved veggies, and of course, rice with a variety of some sort of fresh bonito fish flakes on it.
This is the yuba, the Japanese tofu skin roll. And I'm excited because I like the Chinese one too.
Breakfast bento.
Oh, that's so good. I mean, I can see why everybody went to Japan because this is what they're eating for breakfast. This Spanish mackerel was actually brined in seaweed and sake for like 6 hours. And I can just really taste that flavor. Like the seaweed flavor is really in there. Yo.
If you're looking for something to blow your mind, get the eel. But if you want something to just charge you up for a day, being a peaceful
Basically, these bentos are made to just be those things that keep you going, and like no one can hate them because literally it's grilled meat, you got rice, and you got a variety of veggies. You cannot go wrong.
This is probably the most visually stunning item here, Andrew. This is the bacon and egg mazaman. Mazaman is a dry ramen. Of course, this one has all the extras on it. Extra uni, extra ikra. You know, of course, you got the egg from the bacon and egg. It's sort of like a fusion. Andrew, this is what Okonomi got famous for. Almost like a bacon, egg, and cheese noodle.
Very, very New York, very, very Brooklyn. I love it.
Big uni, big egg, big ikura.
Big taste. I feel like a lot of people wouldn't usually think like, oh, Japanese food can blend well with kind of this New York bodega food. But you know what? They're doing it right here. I was always wondering why the Japanese food in Brooklyn was more experimental, and it's essentially because Brooklyn in general is more experimental. The people out here, they want to see something different. They're very cultured, they're very funky, they're very into the arts.
Definitely, absolutely come to Okonomi. I've had mazaman before in the city. Brooklyn mashes on it.
This is good. This is good.
Hi, I'm Emmy. I'm from Tokyo, Japan. I came to the States in 2011. I work here at Susume since 2015-16. We are a Asian fusion restaurant, but it's more than that. We have some Hawaiian twisted items, Filipino twisted items. We have sushi, we have ramen.
Next up, guys, we've got Susume, which is a Hawaiian, Japanese, Filipino bar based in Brooklyn that's almost mixing everything we just said together.
Yeah, one of the owners and chefs is actually Filipino, spent a lot of time in Hawaii, fell in love with it, fused it with all of his background and working in a Japanese kitchen, and it's come to this, man. And this is a beautiful creation. Now, what I will say is that, David, these ramens, it's something that I've never seen before, but recipe-wise, it doesn't sound out of this world.
Yeah, I've got the pulled pork, which is typically the lao lao pork that comes in a leaf. They turned it into a ramen, put a soft-boiled egg, bok choy. I would say it looks about 70% similar to maybe Hawaiian ramen, and then the other 30% is their own take.
Grilled salmon ramen right here. Yo, let me taste this broth real quick.
All right, let me taste mine. Wow. Wow.
A lot.
Wow.
The egg is cooked so perfectly. Hold on, I gotta go in.
One thing I really miss about living on the West Coast is the Hawaii BBQs. It's really uncommon to find Hawaiian food in New York City.
That's true. When they do decide to do Hawaiian food in New York City, it's always done on a gourmet next level. Hawaiian ramen. Oh, that's a nice light broth.
Wow. But this Kahlua pork with this, just you may
Pork shoulder?
You may want to try this, my brother. Andrew, one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
Wow.
Andrew, moving on, we have a little bit more of a Hawaiian section right here from the sticky ribs, and obviously you got the Filipino lumpia.
Yo, these are really big lumpia. They're larger than the usual ones. It is not made ploy. This is house-made sauce. Look at this.
Mabuhay!
I love that sauce.
I believe, Andrew, that there is some ginger rock candy ground up on top of these ribs. It's like a ginger syrup.
Well, they call them sticky ribs for a reason because they're supposed to be sticking to your finger. Whoa.
Oh, brother, take me back to the islands, brah.
This, I gotta say, wowed me.
Wow. You could not tell me you were expecting that flavor.
Whoa. Unexpected. All right, so our next unique Japanese spot out in Brooklyn is here in Greenpoint. It's called Rule of Thirds, and actually one of the founding chefs is born in Taiwan and raised in Chinatown, New York. So from Chinatown, New York, all the way here, doing something totally different with the izakaya is crazy. Let's go. Thank you, Thea.
This is our umami grog, one of my favorite cocktails on the menu.
So this is kind of a blend of like Japanese tiki. I can't believe that there's enoki mushrooms here in my cocktail. That's crazy. Woo! Kind of smells like a steak.
And this is our hidden fortress.
This is okay. All right, so right off the bat, I'm seeing dishes and smelling things that I never have before. I mean, everything is just, it's kind of familiar, but it's kind of different. And I think that goes to show you that when the chefs really take on authentic Japanese ingredients, but kind of do it in their own way, I mean, it's still authentic in pieces, but obviously the way it's formed might be a little bit new school. Hidden Fortress cocktail. This is gonna be a gin drink. This is a Fiji rum. This is pressed sushi, and actually they have white soy sauce on it. So I'm really excited to try it because I've never had white soy sauce. I don't know what that is. And that's fresh wasabi right there. That's not the wasabi paste. And this is the kasujiru. Now, this is the first time I've ever had this dish, and I've kind of had a lot of Japanese food. However, this is actually a hot pot made out of sake or sake lees, which is kind of like the byproduct of making sake. Kasujiru. It kind of gives you this slightly burnt sake flavor, but with a lot of creaminess. The mushroom flavors are coming through. The broccoli rabe is super fragrant, but everything's charred just a little bit. So I'm not gonna lie, guys, man. This is really, really unique, and I'm enjoying this a lot. Not regular sushi, pressed sushi. You know, going through all these restaurants, I've kind of realized that you're not always gonna find a Japanese chef, but you're always gonna find somebody who respects and loves Japanese food, ingredients, and technique. And honestly, that might be the future of Japanese food in America. The rule of thirds.